On November 3, 1957, a small stray dog named Laika made history as the first living creature to orbit Earth aboard the Soviet spacecraft Sputnik 2. Laika's journey, while tragic, became a symbol of the early space race and marked a significant milestone in human space exploration. This narrative explores the life of Laika, her journey into space, and the legacy of her mission on the world's understanding of space exploration and animal ethics.
Laika, a mixed-breed dog, was one of several strays picked up from the streets of Moscow by Soviet scientists in the mid-1950s. Her small size, calm demeanor, and resilience made her an ideal candidate for spaceflight. The Soviet space program, under intense pressure to maintain its lead in the space race against the United States, had successfully launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite, just a month earlier. The success of Sputnik 1 prompted the Soviet Union to push forward with plans to send a living being into space, and Laika was chosen for this historic mission. At the time, very little was known about the effects of space travel on living organisms. The mission's primary goal was to test whether a living creature could survive the conditions of space, paving the way for future human spaceflights. However, it was understood from the beginning that Laika's mission would be one way. There was no technology in place to safely return her to Earth.
Laika's selection for the mission involved months of rigorous training and preparation. Along with other dogs, she was subjected to tests in small, confined spaces, exposure to loud noises, and simulated launch conditions. These tests were designed to acclimate the dogs to the harsh environment of space and to the tiny pressurized cabin of Sputnik 2, which was no larger than a washing machine. Laika's mission was fraught with challenges, not least of which was the fact that the spacecraft was rushed into production in just 4 weeks. The spacecraft's life support systems were primitive, designed only to provide air, food, and water for a few days. Soviet scientists knew that Laika would not survive the mission, but the decision was made to proceed with the launch to achieve a symbolic victory in the space race.
On November 3, 1957, Laika was placed inside Sputnik 2, which was launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. The spacecraft successfully entered orbit, and Laika became the first living being to travel into space. The Soviet Union announced the successful launch, and Laika instantly became a global icon, celebrated as a pioneer of space exploration. However, the true nature of Laika's experience in space was far less triumphant. Due to a malfunction in the spacecraft's thermal control system, the cabin temperature quickly rose to fatal levels. Soviet authorities initially claimed that Laika had survived for several days, but it was later revealed that she likely died from overheating and stress just a few hours after the launch. Despite the tragic outcome, Laika's mission provided valuable data on the biological effects of space travel, including the impacts of weightlessness and radiation on living organisms. This information was crucial in advancing human spaceflight, eventually leading to Yuri Gagarin's successful manned orbit in 1961.
Laika's mission was both a scientific milestone and a moral controversy. While her journey paved the way for human space exploration, it also sparked debate over the ethical treatment of animals in scientific research. The fact that Laika was sent on a one-way mission with no chance of survival drew criticism from animal rights activists and the public alike. In the decades following the mission, Soviet officials and scientists involved in the space program expressed regret over Laika's fate. Oleg Gazenko, one of the scientists who worked with Laika, later stated, "The more time passes, the more I'm sorry about it. We did not learn enough from this mission to justify the death of the dog." Laika's legacy endures as a symbol of the sacrifices made during the early years of space exploration. Monuments and memorials dedicated to her have been erected in Russia and around the world, commemorating her role as a pioneer of space travel. Her story also contributed to the growing awareness of animal rights and the need for ethical considerations in scientific research.
Laika the space dog's journey into orbit was a momentous event that captured the imagination of the world and marked a key milestone in the history of space exploration. While her mission was marred by tragedy, Laika's legacy as a pioneer and a symbol of the early space race endures. Her story serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between scientific progress and ethical responsibility, and her sacrifice continues to inspire reflection on the costs and benefits of pushing the boundaries of human knowledge.